Welcome to the podcast. Fandora's ass. No, just kidding. Welcome to Fandora's Box. This is the podcast where we talk about our favorite fandoms in terms of our thoughts, theories, opinions. We like to do a little production analysis as well as story dissection. My name is Tyler Gardner, and I am joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Christian Almonte.
So!
And today, Christian is going to be breaking us into a new segment which we titled the Brokages. In this segment, we'll be going over Naruto primarily, and then eventually I think we'll be looking into breaking into other animes as well. This will be exciting for me simply because I don't know a whole lot about Naruto, especially the ins and outs and the real details. I know some details about specific characters, but definitely I'm going to be looking to Christian to kind of build this world out for me and for anybody else who's listening as well, just to kind of get an idea of where we are, who we're looking at, and what we're watching. So, Christian, whenever you're ready, the stage is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So I'm particularly excited about this episode. That's not to say that I'm not excited about every episode that we do here, but Naruto has been one of my long-time favorites. Tyler, you're more of a recent adopter of Naruto, comparatively at least. I grew up with this. It was one of my first lead-ins to anime and animation, Japanese animation.
I got a question for you. With that,
of
did
course.
you start watching Naruto as it was airing? Like, did you start from the premiere on?
We've talked about this briefly. My very first episode that I ever watched was on Cartoon Network.
Oh, I thought we had the same episode. It was
it was the one where Orochimaru fights Hiruzen, the third Hokage, on the rooftops.
Yeah.
This is when the shooting exams go to shit. Things take a turn for the worse. That was my very first, because I was watching, I was like, what is this? Because you had the guys with the weird animal masks, which were the Anbu. And you had the sound ninja with the weird butt bows that are making like huge force fields. And everything was happening. To have that be your starting one.
Yeah.
You see everything going on. Hiruzen is throwing like a mudslide and then using fire on top of it to make like a burning mudslide at Orochimaru. Yeah. Like, they were combining jutsu, so this was it was an all-out showing of just some of the best stuff that Naruto had to offer. So that is not to say, though, that I started there and continued onward. That just happened to be the first episode I saw.
Oh, so you went back.
Eventually, I went back. Cartoon Network, I think at the time, had some of the episodes on their website at the time. I don't remember how the copyright worked back then, but I think they were able to store a bunch of episodes onto the Cartoon Network website. And I watched a lot of them there. I got some of the manga. I have right now on the screen a bunch of, I have on the left the initial season 1 kind of anime cover art. Then I have the manga cover art, which is very different. It was done in the original styling, and then Shippuden later on. So between the combination of manga and anime, I caught up with Naruto and became thoroughly enthralled with it. Back when we were in high school, one of the things that I would go to get to in FYE, which, before I had a falling out with FYE, I had my paycheck from working at the movie theater back then. I would go there, I would get like a box set of Naruto and just binge on that,
Were you ever a manga guy? Did you read the mangas?
Mm-hmm. I was a manga guy, but the thing with manga that a lot of people, I'm sure those that aren't too familiar with how manga is.
Me, I will throw myself in that category, absolutely.
Manga is actually incredibly expensive. They're all, every volume, even though they look like just a little bit of comic books, so you can be like, oh, I can get like a bunch of them, but they're actually all like at the price of a normal like book that's like $10 to $20 somewhere in there. So really, if you're buying like a whole few seasons of them, you're buying like hundreds of dollars. So I didn't do a whole lot of them. I did a lot of the ones that I think I jumped around a lot because I had like the first volume there, and then I watched a bunch of episodes, then there was 7, 8, 9 I had. It was weird.
Now, I just have a question about anime in general, when they're obviously transcribed from, because all animes come from a manga, right? I don't know of any that start off as an anime. I mean,
you are right for the most part, except for with a few minor exceptions. I think Ghost in the Shell started out as did it start as a manga? I thought it started maybe as a movie. Well, regardless, but yeah, for the most part, you are correct.
They're transcribed from a manga.
Yeah, to an anime. Especially the way that it worked back then. In the late '90s, early 2000s, Shonen Jump was a major component. You can see Naruto was part of Shonen Jump, and Shonen Jump was so Shonen's a particular type of manga. You have Shonen and Shoujo. Shonen's the action ones typically, which would be DBZ, One Piece, Naruto, so on and so forth, Bleach. And then you have shoujo, which would be more like, it had a different art style. It was more like romantic type of ones. Like I'm not sure if Black Butler would be considered it, but they had like Oran High School Host Club, stuff like that. The softer ones, more comedy based. And people can correct me on that if I'm not fully right about that. But Shonen Jump was very specific because that was one of the forefront. If you made it onto a Shonen Jump edition volume, you made it as a manga artist.
Now, what is Shonen Jump? Is that a distributor of manga, or is it like an anime manga magazine kind of a thing, like a Game Informer?
Yeah, kind of both. So basically, they would have, every volume of manga is subdivided into a bunch of chapters, just like any old book would. But they would release, say, like a chapter of Naruto in a volume of Shonen Jump. I wish I had one at home, actually. I could show you.
Okay. And
then, you flip the page and suddenly it's Rosario plus Vampire. Flip the page.
Oh, okay.
So basically, they would give you a little bit of a teaser for each of these mangas that are coming out. And it was kind of like you had a little collective in one big book. They were pretty neat.
Do you know when Naruto started as a manga? Like, how old is Naruto?
Naruto is, I believe, late 90s. I can double check for you right now. 1999.
That's when it started as an illustrated manga?
Yeah, Naruto was first published in the Shonen Manga magazine, the weekly Shonen Jump magazine. Yeah, that was from September 1999 and kept going all the way until 2014.
And when did it become an anime?
Became an anime? I'd have to look that up for you.
Okay.
So, I believe the anime aired on Cartoon Network in 2005, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's whenabouts you and I would have seen it at a late night.
Yeah, because I'm assuming it would have been released as an anime in Japan before it came to the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. For that little bit of a tangent. So the world of Naruto. So this podcast is going to be mostly for those that are either, already madly in love with Naruto and just feel like, revisiting this. Fans of us, maybe as Pandora's Box fans that just want to dive into the Naruto-verse with us. Or brand new people. We're going to try and keep the spoilers to a minimum in terms of like the late stages of Naruto, like Naruto Shippuden. There's going to be some spoilers that's just inherent with our genre.
Yeah.
So if you're really worried about spoilers, we're not really the podcast for you, unfortunately. But yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. So the world of Naruto. So who is in Naruto? And more specifically, when I say who, I don't mean character-wise, I mean who as in like what's the population of the Naruto universe. And the Naruto universe consists of, for those that don't know Naruto, you might have at least heard that Naruto's a big like ninja anime. It's all about ninjas, that whole concept. And it's true. So Naruto is predominantly about a ninja population, specifically shinobi and konoichi. So Tyler, do you know the difference between shinobi and konoichi?
No. I didn't. I'm part of that population that likes Naruto and to see Naruto doesn't know fuck shit about that.
Yeah, no worries. So it's actually a pretty simple answer. So shinobi are kind of the male ninjas. So whenever you hear like, this is my ninja way or this is my shinobi way, that's because it's, that's the male ninja equivalent. Konoichi are like Sakura and Ino and all that stuff. And, so the Konoichi are female.
Oh, okay. I thought shinobi,
warriors.
because I've obviously heard the term shinobi. I thought that was just shinobi is what they called themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant.
Ninja is the broader term, I believe. There are actual technical differences.
Okay.
But specifically for the purpose of this podcast, it's subdivided Shinobi, Konoichi.
So Shinobi's male, Konoichi's female, ninja.
And they all are under that ninja umbrella, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why, you hear a lot of people say the words, Konoichi when they're talking about like Sakura and all that stuff. That's why.
I'd have to go back and watch because I didn't realize that they were making
it's
that
kind of
distinction.
subtle. Yeah. So it's populated predominantly from these ninjas and their populations. Based on just general knowledge, I'm not going to go to because I'm going to be popping right on into things. Yeah. But in terms of who is in Naruto, it's an action anime. One of the best action animes of all time. Great storytelling. It was up there with Dragon Ball Z.
She's so fucking hot. That May.
Thank you, Tyler.
That's her, right?
And I'm the one with the ADD. Yes. Yes, sir.
I was just he has this slide who has. I'm assuming
I have a pretty good
pretty much
background
every.
right now that has a lot of the characters from.
And so I'm just going through to see who I recognize, and she's just right there, man.
And she is powerful as hell.
Yeah.
We'll go into her when we talk about jutsu.
Powerfully good looking.
All right, you've looked for too long. Next slide.
Okay. Where are they?
So where are they in terms of the Naruto verse? Now, here's the thing. Naruto, just like a lot of the other populations, a lot of the stories that we have, the continent doesn't really have a name other than the shinobi world or the ninja world.
Okay.
The only way that they really describe them.
It's an unnamed land. A lot of
just like Avatar, just
yeah.
like Kenshi. By the way, it's freaking impossible to get a decent map of Naruto, by the way. I don't know why. It's been out for years and years and years, but for some reason they're all terrible maps.
But most of them are like, aren't they all fan made?
Yeah.
Yeah, same with Avatar.
Because with like the manga and what they show in the show, they're like little sections at a time. There's never like a full on map of everything. So I have a couple maps here. Both of them are fan made. Yeah, where the show takes place mostly is within these 5 main regions. So the anime itself, the manga and the anime, will predominantly take place in the Land of Fire. So Land of Fire is a central kind of country, I guess you would say. Yeah, central country in this unnamed continent and landmass. I should also mention that it's not just limited to the continent itself. In a lot of the supplemental anime and manga adaptations and films and whatnot, they go further east. You see a lot of description on this map here on the past the Land of Water even to like another landmass. So there's plenty to explore in Naruto, and honestly, I kind of wish that they would go into it a bit more.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to focus on the Land of Fire as well as the Land of Water, Land of Lightning, Land of Earth, and the Land of Wind. They constitute huge contributing factors within the universe itself. They're kind of the main components. They're the most powerful of the countries that are around. As immediate as the first couple of seasons of Naruto, these come into play. So the main characters, which I will describe very soon. This is going to be towards the end, though. We're going to kind of get a basic understanding of the history first.
Sure.
I'm not going to go into mythology or anything like that. I know that there's the whole development of chakra and ninjutsu, and I'm not going to go into that.
That's a different...
Yeah, a whole nother day. In the modern day, where Naruto starts off, the Land of Fire is home to a village known as the Village Hidden in the Leaves, which has that very famous insignia that you probably see on merch all over the place. Yeah, it's
swirl with the triangle coming off the side.
It represents that leaf. So the main protagonists are housed in the Village Hidden in the Leaves, and they have all these interactions with all these other countries. And the reason why I kind of want to bring this up right now is the fact that there is a bit of a distinction that people seem to constantly misinterpret, which is that the Village Hidden in the Leaves is not the Land of Fire. A lot of people think that it's the Land of Fire. No, the Land of Fire is actually the country that houses the Village Hidden in the Leaves. And that's important because every single country is not run by the Hokage or whatever Kage it is.
So the Hokage... I mean, maybe you're going to discuss this, but the Hokage just runs the village.
He runs the village, the ninja village.
And then there's a whole separate, there's a
political...
there's a whole separate, political organization outside the villages.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's really cool to know because obviously anybody who's seen the show, and much like myself, who's pretty unknowledgeable about these things, you think that the whole world revolves around these villages, but really it's like there's all this other stuff going on. The villages, the story itself does revolve around the villages, but that's not the only thing going on.
Yeah, and they go into... They make a play in Shippuden with the emergence of the samurai units who are the guards of the political figures.
Okay.
So it's not like these are the only. A lot of times people are like the only people that are in this world are like people in those villages.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not just 5 villages. It's 5 countries.
Yeah.
And the villages happen to be the where all their ninjas are trained. So if we go to the next slide, let's go into the history, man. I know you're a bit of a lore whore.
Oh no, I am much more than just a little bit of a lore. I'm very much a sultry lore whore.
Yeah. So the brief history. Once again, for those listening that are already incredibly knowledgeable, I am not going into Kaguya and the whole mythos and the development of ninjutsu. This is after ninjutsu has already been established. A lot of the countries have been established. Not necessarily the villages, but a lot of the countries. And so we're going to go into an era called the Warring States. So when it comes down to the history of Naruto, the Warring States period was really exactly as it sounds. The countries of the world were basically uniformly small. They were all tiny, squabbling. It was pretty bad, actually. It was like a bunch of different clans, much like how it was in medieval times, with constant countries changing their borders all the time, raids constantly happening, and it was basically a bunch of countries who had hired these ninja shinobi clans to fight their battles for land, because not all the politicians were super intense fighters.
Right.
They hired out all these shinobis. And to describe briefly what a clan in Naruto is it's either a family or a group who are within the same small, close-knit community, typically having the same genes, skill sets, and that's kind of how they make their stake in the world. Back then, in the warring states, a lot of them were mercenaries. So clans would be mercenary groups.
So at this point, the villages weren't a thing yet?
Nope, the villages have not been established. Okay. The countries exist, but the villages have not been established. Back in the day, all the clans were being hired to go and fight the other team, fight the other group rather, kill them, and make that, their land.
One of Naruto's parents, didn't they come from a powerful clan, like the Uzumaki or his mom's clan? Or was his mom...
Yeah, I think the Uzumaki clan...
One of them was... I thought one of his parents' lineage, that clan, was pretty beefed up. It could be actually horrendously wrong.
Yeah. So the Uzumaki, I actually have it right here. That's crazy that you mentioned it. It was formerly a prominent clan in a different area. Its members are renowned for having bright red hair. So his mom, Kushina.
Yeah.
They have incredibly strong life forces and chakra. And they have prowess in certain jutsu. There's a bit of decline in the clan. It never went extinct though, as far as we know.
That's what I was about to say. So they still exist when Naruto's around.
Yeah.
Do we see them?
Well, I think they're from. Hold on.
Yeah, they're not from the Land
of Fire. Very good question.
They're not from the Land of Fire, right?
No, they're from actually a different area. From a place called the village hidden in the Whirling Tides, I believe, or the Hidden Eddy Village. Yeah, the Hidden Eddy Village. Which I believe they visit at certain points in Naruto. I don't think they're all directly related, they're not cousins or anything to Naruto, but they're from the same clan, yeah.
Yeah.
Good question, okay. So moving forward from this, so Tyler, say you are the leader of a country, right?
Well, I am a leader of a country.
Yeah. Say you are a leader of a country in the Nartoverse.
Okay. I'm definitely not that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you want land, you need, arable farmland for your people, you need resources.
So I'm trying to expand.
You're trying to expand.
Sure.
And you have this list of people in front of you, all the clans that you can hire. Money's not an option for you. You want to get the best clan that you can get. Who would you get?
Can I pick more than one?
No.
Okay. Then I say top 3 dogs, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
I have all
yeah.
3. Honestly, I'd go Senju.
You go Senju?
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler goes Senju. He has a
Uchihas.
Yeah. Well, he has a country. He wants to get this land. He has all the money in the world to do this. He says, "I'm going to hire one of the most expensive, but one of the most powerful, renowned shinobi of all time."
Be like the land of nuts and the village hidden in the almonds or something. The almonds. Yeah.
Hidden in the almond raisins.
We're the start of alternative dairies.
We need all that water to make these almonds.
Yeah. We're destroying the land.
So yeah, he hires the Uchiha. So
no, I hired the Senju.
Sorry, he has. My apologies.
How dare you?
He hires the Senju, and he says, "All right, I'm going for Christian's land right now. I see your boys coming over here with some fucking Senju.
You better buckle up."
And I'm like, I call up. I'm like,
you better hope money's not an option.
Who the hell can we hire? Money's not an option for us either.
Oh, fine.
Who can we hire? And they'll be like, well, who's the other one? The Uchiha. So essentially, that became a running theme, where the two most powerful clans, the Uchiha and the Senju, were constantly being hired against each other. Because basically, if one person hired the Senju, the other person would hire the Uchiha. If one person hired the Uchiha, Senju. Because these clans could not be beaten. So basically, the Senju clan was incredibly gifted all around. Probably to date the most well-balanced shinobi. They were good at everything. They were good at ninjutsu, hand-to-hand combat. They had a great intellect.
That was my question, because knowing that those clans beefed, obviously the Uchihas have their Sharingan, which is their most prominent thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood what made the Senju so, go.
Mm-hmm.
It was just because they're just the best fucking ninjas.
They were, well, I mean, after being pretty battle hardened,
they didn't seem like they had a prominent move set that would counter the Sharingan, right? Like they didn't have a compatible, or not a compatible, but a comparable, what is it, Keki Genkai, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. I guess to describe it,
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, but this was something of interest for me.
No, but I agree, because it's kind of like, it is a little bit vague. I mean, I guess...
Because you can obviously tell with the Uchiha what makes them so good is their Keki Genkai.
Yeah. Because, the Uchiha, obviously they have... I mean, they have cheat codes, man. They have the Sharingan that literally reads other people's ninjutsu to a T. Some of them are able to copy it, too. So they know what you're doing before you're even able to. Plus, they can activate Genjutsu, which puts illusions on their enemies. Some of them strong enough to even kill them in like one look. And then don't even get me started when they start awakening things like Mangekyo Sharingan or Amaterasu, where they literally put unquenchable flames on the person.
Unstoppable fire, but we can also upgrade it.
There was a serious reason why the Uchiha were a serious threat. The Senju clan, though, I mean, I know I understand your question where it's like, what made them so powerful?
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that they had incredibly powerful jutsu users, Hashirama, you had Tobirama, you had some of the most OP dudes on the planet that mastered, oh my god, almost all the chakra natures. But I think it's also just because, you can have a serious threat like the Uchiha, but if you are intelligent enough and, a well done military army, so they're able to take down just about anything.
Okay, so they're just well-rounded goats.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of, I could be corrected on this in a heartbeat in the comments, but I think these guys were mostly, it was just because of how fucking good they were.
That's fine. It never pointed to anything in particular that made them because they have this, whatever quote unquote that is.
Yeah.
But they never seemed to have that one particular thing. It was
right.
They were just as good, but no other reason than the fact that I guess that they were just that good.
Yeah, and now that I'm looking at it right now, so what it says in the description, and this is from the NarutoFandom.com, the Senju clan was famed for their balanced skill in all of the shinobi arts.
Yeah.
And that's basically all they gave, in terms of description. So, essentially, going back to what we were talking about, at the beginning of the formation of all these, wars and whatnot, the warring states comes to a head because the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan, they start fighting all the time. Every 2 countries will hire them. I'm attacking you. Okay, well, I'm hiring the best that I got.
Yeah, so if one person's going to hire Senju, that their opponent's going to hire the Uchiha.
And this isn't without problems. Because eventually down the road, Tyler, you're now a Senju, and I'm an Uchiha.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. I have iced 5 of your boys.
Well, I iced 6.
You iced 6 of my brothers. We suddenly hate each other. So this started getting very, very intense because not only were they hired, because it's supposed to be this is mercenary group, it's no hard feelings, that kind of thing. But it's no, I've seen that guy kill 2 of my friends. I'm pissed. So this rivalry got heated as hell.
Yeah, it makes sense if you're constantly seeing the same person. It's very tough to no longer take it personally.
Yeah.
You're always seeing them.
It's you can't be this is just a job. It's no.
It was 6 jobs ago. It was just a job, but now it's
3 relatives ago.
Yeah. Yeah, an uncle and aunt, a sister ago it was, but
essentially, yeah. And this got pretty intense. So we have the introduction of a couple characters right now. Actually, 3 characters. You got Madara, who is the eldest son of a prominent figure in the Uchiha clan. I just can't remember his name. He has a bunch of brothers, almost all of them slaughtered by the Senju during fights. And he's just a kid at this point. Hashirama, same boat. He's been fighting tooth and nail, even as a kid. By the way, these wars were so intense and so common that the actual lifetime expectancy of a human being back then was reduced to about 30 years old. Yeah, no, they didn't live long. They had child soldiers because they couldn't meet the demands well enough.
Even in the actual show, the Naruto show, which is obviously past this, is they're training when they're 10, 12 years old.
Yeah, that whole mentality stayed through all the way down through the bloodlines. Yeah, for sure. Good parallel. So they were training, but there wasn't a whole lot of training period. That was I guess the major difference was that Naruto wasn't sent to war really. He was sent on the kind of supposedly easy missions.
Yeah, mission.
But on paper they had more training. These guys, they were learning in battles. Like they were constantly being. I mean, the kids were constantly being killed by the older adults.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're more experienced. So it was just a terrible, terrible time. And at one point, by chance, the two kids, Madara and Hashirama, so Madara Uchiha, Hashirama Senju, they meet outside of a battlefield.
As kids?
Yeah, as kids. And they just have a great time as kids. They don't realize that they're on opposite sides. They vibe with each other, and they get very close to each other because both of them have lost, siblings. Both of them have lost, friends, family. So they were able to find, like, consolidation with each other.
Yeah.
And so they got really close in that sense. But then, obviously, they figured it out. And they suddenly were like, you're awesome. You're friends. I really hope that, you and I can bring peace later on in life so that, so that kids don't have to fight anymore, all this shit. And then it was revealed that they're on the opposite side of the war. And suddenly it became one of those things where, well, we can't...
Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can't really be friends. We're not allowed to interact with each other. Plus, the next time we see each... And this is almost what Madara says word for word. He says, the next time we see each other, it's going to be on the battlefield, probably. And that happened. For time and time again, they started, slicing each other up. And so eventually, Hashirama, as he gets older, he becomes the leader of the Senju clan. Madara becomes the leader of the Uchiha clan. So suddenly the two friends, former friends, are leaders on the opposing clans. So a very, very Romeo and Juliet type of situation. So that's the young Hashirama on the left, young Madara on the right. They come to blows in a battlefield because what happens is Madara, Hashirama, they fight on the battlefield. Tobirama as well. Tobirama slices up Madara's younger brother. He suffers from those wounds. They ended up being fatal. And Madara was like, dude, that was my last brother. This ain't cool anymore. So there was a huge, huge battle. Once again, this is what's called the Final Valley, which Naruto and Sasuke fight years and years later, which is kind of funny. The Uzumaki versus the Uchiha. They start doing some crazy shit. So long story short, Hashirama flattens Madara in a fight. Madara, this is his first time ever on his, back in a situation. He's on the ground, and Hashirama approaches him. Tobirama tries to kill him right there, and Hashirama says, "You do not lay a finger on this dude." And he tells Madara, he says, "I want to root for peace right now. Will you join me to, make a pact with, the Land of Fire to become, a united village for our people, so that we don't have to suffer anymore?" And Madara says, "Fuck you." He says, "Fuck you, man. You just kill all my brothers. Yeah. I have no one left to protect, What's the point of making peace if there's no one left to be peaceful for, So he's full of hate and malice. And then Hashirama says, "What can I do to convince you, to join up, to take my side?" Yeah. And Madara says, "Fucking kill yourself.
Ooh. Or
kill your brother." And then Hashirama's like, "Oh shit, you'll do it if I kill myself?" He's like, "The fuck, yeah." And then he takes off his armor, takes out a knife, and is like 1 inch from killing himself when Madara's like, okay, Jesus, stop.
I believe you.
I believe you. Goddamn. Alright, we'll make a fucking village or whatever.
Just don't kill yourself.
He's like, that's a metal as hell.
Metal as fuck.
Yeah, so Hashirama doesn't kill himself, thankfully. They become the first two clans in the village hidden in the leaves, which is a village dedicated of shinobi warriors and all within the Land of Fire. Strong believers of the Will of Fire. So, this seems like a good solution at first. Slowly becomes a bit iffy.
So, in this birth of Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves, how do maybe you're going to go into it.
Yeah.
How do the other villages come about? Do they see this and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that too"?
It's very funny that you say that. Yeah, that's almost exactly what I have next. After they establish the village, things are starting to go pretty well. Hashirama and Madara actually are standing on like a cliff overlooking the village, and they're talking about how the future and whatnot. And Hashirama says, "Hey man, I just heard word from the Sarutobi clan. They say that they want to join up and be part of us, be part of our future."
Mm-hmm.
And so Saratobi clan, third Hokage, became one of the first clans to join up.
Okay.
And a bunch of other clans joined up as well.
Oh, so the village started with just the Senju and the Uchiha,
yep.
and then others filed in after
Yeah,
the village
and then
was
things went downhill for the Uchihas. It ended up becoming like, you remember as Skyrim and what's the one that has Jarl Ulfric?
Windhelm?
Windhelm, yeah, it's like Windhelm the Grey Corner.
Oh, with the Dark Hills?
Yeah, so it was started as a 50-50, but then the Uchiha were slowly bullied and pushed into a corner, essentially.
Why was that?
So, good question again. I love the questions, they're great. So basically this village is formed, but it's within the country of the Land of Fire.
Right.
So Land of Fire is like, hey, we still have, it's still political, and we still need to...
The other shit didn't just go away because you guys made peace.
Just because you guys made a village, man, you're in our fucking country.
Great, but we still have work to do.
So they go up to...
That's so funny.
They go up to like Hashirama, Madara, and Tobirama, and they say, hey, man, I mean, you gotta elect a leader, all right? That can work with us politically and all that stuff. And so they're like, okay, we'll make the Hokage. And like we have to, we'll obviously put someone forth for nomination. And eventually, I don't remember specifically, but there was a big deal because Hashirama was elected, not Madara.
Yeah.
And that became a bit of a problem because eventually down the line, Madara's like, hey, let me guess, the next Hokage is going to be Tobirama.
Yeah.
When the Uchiha just aren't going to get any representation, I guess. And Madara, you have to remember, Madara didn't want this deal to begin with.
Yeah.
Like he was like ready to be like, dude, go kill yourself. He wasn't expecting the guy to actually kill himself.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is I'm not vibing with this anymore.
It's like, I'll do it, but I'll still be angry about it.
Yeah.
So you have the village created.
Mm-hmm.
You have Hashirama voted in as the first Hokage, the leader of this village, which obviously creates some tension between him and Madara. And Madara's not happy.
Yeah, and remember, it's not... Hashirama was very much an anomaly who wanted peace above all else. Madara and Tobirama were not like that. Tobirama specifically is known as the biggest racist in Naruto. He absolutely did everything out of his power to fuck the Uchiha because he hated the Uchiha to a T, man. Literally that's one of the craziest scenes. This is a spoiler, by the way. In the Fourth Great Ninja War when... the Hokages are brought back. Yeah. And they see Sasuke. Tobirama was about to kill Sasuke right there. And Hashirama was like, don't you dare. And Tobirama was like, dude, fucking Uchiha's filth, bro. Like, he wanted to throw hands. Uchiha's he was resurrected from the dead and instantly wanted to kill Sasuke. That being said, though, so this became a theme. So the Land of Fire has this really powerful, incredibly powerful village.
Why were the Uchihas just hated off bat? Like, even though the village was created, why
because it was the Senju versus the Uchiha the whole time. So who would they were all reluctant, man. I mean, the Uchihas, they ultimately lost, remember? Because Madara was, bested by Hashirama.
Sure.
So, they didn't really have
But it doesn't explain why all these other clans... I mean, I can understand why the Senjus would dislike them, but why would all these other clans kind of gang up on them? Did they have beef with the Uchihas? Or, they just because the Senjus were in charge, that they're just going to go along with it?
I think it was more the latter, yeah. I think it's because of a generational thing. I mean, that's going into that's a little off track from what we're trying to get with.
My bad.
No, it's okay. So, one of the major issues, well, not issues, but one of the major, actually no, it did become an issue. It really did become an issue. The other lands, the other countries, there were 5 really powerful countries, which, if you go back to the map real quick, we'll list them off again real quick.
The lands of those.
Yeah, the land of lightning, land of water, land of earth, land of wind. They all saw that the Land of Fire now has a huge shinobi concentration under their banner. Sure. They're literally allied with the 2 biggest mercenary clans now. Yeah. So they're like, oh shit, we need to fucking bring in some clans of ourselves. So they all make hidden villages. Okay. So suddenly, if you go back to the map, if you go back to the map, so suddenly the Land of Lightning now has the village hidden in the clouds. The Earth Kingdom has the village hidden in the rocks, the stones, I believe. Village hidden in the boulder. Yeah, and then they have one for the village hidden in the sand, and the village hidden in the waves, I want to say. No, Mist. Sorry, Village Hidden in the Mist. They all combine, make their own things, and suddenly you have the 5 great shinobi countries. Things get a little bit hairy from there because Madara.
Did they put a dating system in Naruto, like to kind of track years? You know how
No,
Star Wars is BBY.
That's
ABY?
something that I've been struggling to find.
They don't have anything like
I
that.
have not been able to find it, man.
Denomination, yeah. Okay, so let me see if I can kind of make sense of this a little bit. You have the individual countries, which were already kind of separated as like land of fire, land of water. That was already a thing, right? Established lands.
Yeah,
and
the
then
countries already were established.
Okay, so the countries were established. In the countries themselves, there are individual clans that we know them, like the Uchiha, Uzumaki, Nara, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until like the real beef between the Uchihas and the Senju that we then eventually, at some point, the 2 prominent figures of those villages or those clans, Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha, they have beef. They sort of resolve their beef, not really though, to make the first hidden village, which is the village hidden in the leaves for the fire, land of fire.
Correct.
And then you're saying at that point, once they establish their village and other clans start to enter in these hidden villages, that's when the other lands, land of water, land of earth, lightning, they decide that they're also going to make their own hidden villages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. I mean, Konoha was basically an experiment. Konoha, also another name for village hidden in the leaves.
Gotcha.
Konoha was a bit of an experiment, and it actually worked out. So, for the most part, so a lot of the other lands adapted this. Plus, it was a good way to. I mean, militarily, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To have a fully staffed. You don't have to constantly be paying random mercenaries.
Yeah.
Get
them all into one place. Yeah,
military,
makes sense.
and then you get to raise younger ones like you do with the tuning exams, all that stuff, and it made sense, a lot of sense. Especially because the idea originally from Madara and Hashirama as children. Were to be like, yo, we're kids, we shouldn't have to fight. So we should, when we become powerful or whatever, we should make it so that kids don't have to fight, we'll have peace again, all that stuff. Madara is a little bit twisted at this point, because as Hashirama is inducted as the Hokage, he saw this as kind of the first step towards Senju dominance over his people. Because he's like, dude, we were both equal a part of this when we were making this. Why is only one of us being represented up there? That kind of thing.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? I don't know. Like have like a vice Hokage.
Yeah, right. It makes sense, but Madara's.
Yeah.
He likes to be angry.
Yeah, that's his bag.
In fact, one of the major beef that people had with the Uchiha is that it's their anger that makes them powerful. So a lot of people were fearful of the Uchiha because.
Oh my God, were they Sith?
Yeah, because when they get like really emotional like that, they awaken more powers in your eyes. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
So there was a little bit backed up with that, but it's also mostly just racism.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that goes behind the scenes. I don't want to get too deep into it as well.
Sure.
But basically, Zetsu, remember Zetsu?
Yes.
There's a stone tablet that Zetsu alters from the Mythos days. He presents it to Madara, and Madara's like, wait a second, Konoha's like a failed experiment. What the fuck? This is not how we should work on peace for my people, all this stuff. So he kind of goes a little bit crazy in that sense, and eventually he's like, he goes to his friends, his relatives in the Uchiha clan. He tries to convince them. He says, no, this isn't the way. We need to do it a different way. And they're all like, dude, we just sat down.
We just built this fucking village.
We're at peace, man. We were trying to chill.
We just sat down.
We're trying to chill for once.
I just got home from work.
He just sat down. Who starts a conversation like this? And Madara's like, well, fuck you guys. I'll do this myself then. So Madara.
Wait, this whole thing was your idea.
Yeah. So Madara ends up getting the tailed beast, the legendary Kurama.
So I was wondering, because I see him up here with the Nine Tails.
Mm-hmm.
So he eventually tracks it down and gets control of it?
Yeah, basically the power of the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, he's able to control the nine-tailed fox, which is no mean feat, because the nine-tailed fox is the most powerful of the tailed beasts, save for the 10 tails. Mm. So he comes back with the nine tails, starts to rain havoc on the village. Hashirama he pulls out all the stops. He activates his 1,000-arm of Buddha statue of
Does he activate
wood.
That fucking monster?
It basically becomes a kaiju battle with two giants.
Is that what is that fucking thing behind Hashirama?
No, that's essentially what he creates. He creates like a massive wood entity statue to help defeat people.
Damn.
Yeah, they were way too overpowered for their generation, man.
Yeah.
So they come to blows, and eventually this time, Madara is able to, kick Hashirama down
Really?
onto his back, and Madara's like, haha, last time I was in that position, now I'm in this position, that kind of thing. And then he gets stabbed in the back by Hashirama, and Hashirama's like, that was a stone, or a wooden clone.
Oh my god.
And Madara's like, interesting.
Damn.
And
I
so
can't say I saw that.
and so Hashirama was like, yeah, no, I can't let you, ruin this piece and all that stuff. So I will kill you. And then
He killed him?
yeah, and then Madara's like, oh, so you've changed. You're willing to kill me this time. And Hashirama kills him. There's more to it than that.
Sure.
But for the all extended purposes,
looking at it
Yeah,
surface, it looks like he killed him.
basically,
And,
for all intents and purposes, Madara was killed by Hashirama. They fought for exhaustion, by the way, though. It was a massive carnage. The valley of the end, sometimes known as the Final Valley, was formed, which is where you see those statues in the back of that huge battle between Madara and Hashirama, which comes into play later, which is interesting too. I love the way that Naruto unfolds, because as you're watching this, from start to finish, you see these statues and you see, Sasuke and Naruto fighting, but you have no idea the significance of those statues. You know what I mean? Like those were monumental events that happened that would have changed the whole. Like if Madara succeeded and killed Hashirama, it would be way, way different.
Yeah, it was a pivotal moment in the history of
massive moment.
Konoha.
For sure. And the news of Madara's death spread fast. There's a whole thing that's going behind the scenes with Zetsu and Madara and all that stuff, which comes into play later. But I'm not gonna get into that too much. But for all extended purposes, Madara is now out of the picture. So that was the birth of Konoha and the conflict between the two leaders. We now continue to the first ever Kage Summit, which does not go well. So Hashirama and Tobirama make their way up. Eventually, after the formation of all these new hidden villages, a bunch of clans members, they make a summit. Basically, all of the 5 countries.
Is that Hashirama?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's Hashirama right there. They all come together, and Hashirama basically says, "Hey guys, how we doing?" And the others are like, "This fucking guy." He's like, "All right, what we're gonna do? We should make an alliance." And they're all like, "Dude, none of us want an alliance. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Dude, but for the greater image of peace, guys." And yeah, he kind of comes off as a bit of a hippie, because they all had real world problems. It wasn't like they didn't want like peace, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's just that the guy from the hidden village of the sand was just like, "Dude, my whole fucking village is sand. I need arable soil and shit. Like, I need to take more land." And they're like, "Well, peace." And he's like,
Guys,
"I will not live if I don't have some food on my plate." So he's like, "Dude, and we'll put a price on the tailed beast, because we all have different tailed beasts."
Mm-hmm.
And that became a major point of contention too, because the tailed beasts are hugely powerful.
Yeah.
And
they're basically talking about nuclear weapons.
Essentially, yeah. It was a big meeting, and Hashirama, for better or for worse, he fails at these talks. Moments later, we go into the Great Ninja Wars. So the first Great Ninja War happens. It's like a ninja world war. All 5 countries are fighting each other.
Is it for the countries, or is it the village versus village?
Like the countries.
Okay.
Well, both, I guess you could say. They all start fighting each other.
I don't know how inclusive or exclusive these shinobi villages are in their predominantly shinobi activities. Like when they choose to go to war, is it the whole country is like, well, shit, now we're at war?
It is fairly vague.
Is it just shinobi versus this is a shinobi problem, not a...
Yeah, that's a technicality I kind of wish I'd delved into a little bit more and was able to research a bit more. But from my understanding, because there's very little information on the first one, which is strange, but the first World War, I guess you would call it, is just these 5 countries.
Yeah.
They start throwing hands, they do a lot of collateral damage. Eventually they make a bit of a peace. Second World War comes, which a lot of people believe Konoha actually kind of started.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. Once again, this is I think a decade later, so I think Tobirama's in charge, so that makes more sense. I could be wrong about that though, but another war happens. Finally, we get into the Third Great Shinobi War, which brings us much closer to the current timeline. Guess who's in the third Great Shinobi War?
Sonians.
The Sanis are there. They're young as hell, but they're there and they're doing great work. Who also is in the third Great Shinobi War?
Minato, right?
Yeah, he iced the Minato. Single-handedly forced the village hidden in the stone to surrender. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
He killed 1,000 of them in one fight.
Dude's a goat.
Dude, Minato he was called, what was it, the Yellow Flash.
Yeah.
It was called the Yellow Flash. Because this dude could literally, like, teleport and shit.
He was fucking goated.
Minato, there's a reason he's the fourth Hokage. That guy, yeah, I think he killed 1,000 of them in one fight. And the Tsuchikage, so the issue, by the way, I forgot to mention this. This is actually a very important side note. Yeah. So at this point, a lot of the Hokages and Kages have transferred powers.
Okay.
The second, I think, Kazekage. Oh no, the second Shizukage. He is Mu, the man wrapped in all bandages.
Okay.
If you remember him.
No.
He had like that triangle thing. I have a picture of him somewhere here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this guy.
I know who Naruto is for sure.
This guy is very important.
Okay.
He was one of the other than so at this current time, only Hashirama and Tobirama had unlocked all four of the chakra natures, all 5 chakra natures, by sheer will and determination.
Okay.
Mu was the third. He was an absolute G. But here's the thing. Super polite guy. He was nice to everybody. Even when they're brought back in Shippuden, he uses everyone's honorific title, even though he doesn't have to. He's like a zombie. He doesn't need to do that. He's like, even though he's a villain, he's just like, oh, Lord Third Hokage, how are you? How are we doing? But one guy he couldn't stand. One guy he hated the guts out of, which was a man named Gengetsu Hozuki, and he was the second Mizukage. He could not stand this man.
Mu didn't like this dude.
No, he did not like this guy, and he loved everybody.
Why?
I mean, look at him. He looks like a douche.
Well, just because he has douche face.
Well, I don't know too much about their actual beef. They don't go into it too much.
Okay, so this leader, Mu, the leader of whatever village, dislikes the leader of another village.
Yeah, he absolutely hates him for some reason. I don't quite know why. However, their beef becomes massive, and they fight each other. And Mu, who is one of the most powerful Kages of all time, he kills this guy, but at the cost of his own life.
Oh man!
So they kill each other. Unfortunately, that elects the what Humadara calls the fence sitter kid, who is the old man Shizukage. When that guy, who was very young at the time, sees Minato ice like 1,000 of his boys, he's just like,
yeah, we fucking surrender.
he surrenders. Yeah. So
we get it.
So there's a lot of major figures that appear in this third Great Ninja War. But
at that time, was Minato the Hokage?
Oh.
I was just trying to get an idea of like who is where during these like big events, because this is the third Great Shinobi War, right?
Yeah.
The one before Shippuden.
I don't think he was until the end.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So he was chosen after his performance.
Okay.
In the third Great Ninja War.
This is when he takes over from Hiruzen.
Yeah, and he was chosen over Orochimaru actually to become fourth Hokage. So between the Sannin and the Yellow Flash, they chose the Yellow Flash. So I mean, there's some major figures that go in there. Like you said, the Sannin are there. Minato's there. There's a bunch of other kind of legendary fighters that are in there. I believe Kakashi's actually there as a young fellow. He kills his own girlfriend essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then his other friend gets hit with a rock, who comes out back later to become a huge problem. And guess who's also there? And this is very important. Guess who is a kid and is seeing all these people getting slaughtered and destroyed?
Nagato? Pain?
Well, actually, technically yes, but not this particular kid. There is a very young boy who's seeing people getting stabbed all over. He has to kill for the first time. It's very traumatizing to him. Itachi Uchiha.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is where Itachi's whole...
Well, I thought he was...
His whole motivation
I thought he was
begins.
even... Oh, yeah, he would have been...
He was a little baby, yeah. He was like somewhere between 10 and 13 or something.
Okay, I didn't know how old they were, so it's tough for me to place people.
Yeah, well, I mean, he became like the leader of the fucking Anbu as an early teen.
Yeah, for like 13.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, I don't know where he was though.
But because he's the killing machine. Itachi was gifted, and for better or for worse. But he is a peaceful dude. He wanted peace more than anything else, and he became a lot like Madara in the sense that he sees all this war happening around him. And by the way, the Third Great Shinobi War was not a typical war in the sense that it was like the 5 nations beefing again.
Mm-hmm.
This was the whole world.
This is everybody.
This was every village.
All the lands.
Yeah, village hidden in the eddy, village hidden in the waves. All the little. If you go back to that map, I can.
Yeah, because there's way more lands.
Way more. So you can look at them all. They were all involved in this.
Land of claws, land of red beans. They gotta be a fucking.
Yeah.
Land of tea. I wouldn't want to face them.
Yeah, land of the mountain. They got land
crabs.
of waterfalls. Yeah. Oh my God. Everybody wanted beef on this third one, and it became rough. Yeah, very young children, barely out of the academy, were thrown into battlefield. A lot of them losing their young lives during the war. To give you a bit of a play-by-play, the Stone Village and Konoha, they fought across, their inner areas, and there was a major destruction of a bridge that the war had begun turning into Konoha's favor. So yeah, essentially there was a massive fight between everybody. The war raged on for a long period of time, and it comes out to about the modern era. So after the Third War, everyone's kind of finally chilling out. Everybody else, they've kind of gone their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Tsunade kind of picked up that gambling addiction. She dipped. Jiraiya decided to become a perv, and all these things happened. Peace kind of was a bit more restored. However, this was also the time where the fourth Hokage unfortunately passes away after having his child Naruto, who is the star of the show. There's the whole attack of the Nine Tails.
Yeah.
He sacrifices himself to steal the Nine Tails box away into his newborn son. Now we're in the modern time. So if you switch to this next one, we got introducing the main characters such as
Naruto!
Sasuke! So yeah, this last slide I figured I would dedicate to the very beginning. So if you guys are starting to watch, if you guys are starting to watch for the first time, you guys will see instantly the main character of the show, who is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki, played by I believe Meg Flanagan, and also a woman in the Japanese one as well. Tyler, what do you know about these main characters? You know this much.
What do I know about the main characters?
Yeah. Can you introduce who we got?
You want to talk about just the main 3?
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, you have Naruto Uzumaki, who's Naruto Uzumaki. You have Sasuke Uchiha, who's Sasuke Uchiha, and you have Sakura
Haruno.
I knew you begin with an H. And she's also in the show as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to get a bit more specific on that.
Well, yeah. So, like, I know it starts off with Naruto. When we're first introduced to Naruto, he's an orphan.
He is an orphan.
He does
that. By the way, that swinging chair that he's on, always the swing, that's had more screen time than all of 1010. No, sorry, 1010. It had to be said.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Zabuza had more fucking screen time than 1010. Yeah.
I saw that meme and it fucking killed me.
Well, yeah, so it starts off, you meet Naruto for a little bit before the other two are, maybe they're introduced, but like they're not introduced as a group until like later on when they become Ninja Team, what is it, 7?
Yep, Ninja Team 7.
Ninja Team 7, yeah. And that's when you're introduced to Kakashi, who's fucking goat on goat.
Mm. And
then I believe that other guy, that's Iruka Sensei?
Yes, sir.
That's like the first real
Naruto's
mentor.
like father figure.
Yeah, the first like real mentor we see towards Naruto, because for some reason he's just like, Naruto's just douched on, which I don't understand in this list.
Because of Hiruzen. Fuck that dude.
I guess, but and that's definitely a discussion. So yeah, those 3, and then Sasuke, who's in Uchiha, he's like one of the he is, I think at this point, Itachi's still alive, so he's one of 2 remaining Uchihas that's known to be alive, right?
Correct. The 2 known ones. That's very correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, essentially, and I should fill in the gap a little bit here. I completely forgot to mention.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, I completely forgot to mention the massacre of the Uchiha. We talked so much about them. The Uchiha at the beginning of Naruto, so when Naruto is, I think, still just a child, the entire Uchiha clan is wiped out, except for Sasuke Uchiha. And by the way, it's not a spoiler to say this, but Itachi Uchiha, Sasuke's older brother, is the one that does the killing, for the most part. You'll find out that there was a second character involved later on. But Itachi slaughters the entire Uchiha clan for seemingly unknown reasons, just to be a kind of a rogue ninja, is the initial thought. People don't give much thought to it. That's just the public appearance, but it turned out to be a lot.
It was easy because if you're gonna it was easy to make it seem like.
Yeah, it was a scapegoat.
Yeah, I mean it's the fucking Uchihas, so nobody's gonna everyone's gonna take it as face value and be like, all right, yeah, fine.
Yeah, exactly. But he did leave Itachi, even though he's a thorough man, and he wanted to carry this out to a T, including his own mother, his own father, the fucking aunt and uncle or whoever else that was running the food stands around there. He killed them all, literally all of them. He could not bear to kill his younger brother, so he kept Sasuke alive to try and come out and make him strong and fight him again one day. So Sasuke is Naruto's rival in Team 7. So essentially the characters of Naruto, the little twerps that they are in the beginning, they are all going through what's called the Academy program. So basically those that want to go down the ninja route, it's kind of like a college path. If you want to go down regular civilian life, or do you want to become like a shinobi? If you want to be in the shinobi life, you have to pass Ninja Academy, which is for little babies, I think up until about 13 or whatever. Afterwards, you are assigned a genin rank, I guess you would say. And Naruto, he didn't think that he would be able to get it, but he was so happy when he finally got the headband, because, Naruto, he is orphaned at this point. His mother dies in childbirth, and his father dies for mysterious circumstances, which you guys know now is because he sealed the nine-tailed fox within him, and that took all of his power. So he was an orphan, protected in a very minor way by Hiruzen. And he, was reckless, constantly acting out, constantly trying to be the center of attention because of, his background. Eventually, he makes it out of the academy with, great character development, and he becomes part of Team 7, which is chosen from his classmates Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Sakura is pretty useless in the first Naruto series. In Shippuden, she gets better, but in the first one, she's kind of just a useless strawberry-colored...
She's just there to cry whenever the two are fighting.
Yeah, her greatest power is summoning Naruto or Sasuke.
So she's summoning jutsu.
And they are taught by a war veteran and, as Tyler said, absolute fucking unit.
The goat of goats.
Kakashi Hatake, who is the copy ninja, master of over, I think, 1,000 jutsu. Dude's a beast.
Yeah.
And that's where we start off, and you guys will proceed from there. You'll see a bunch of their adventures. Starts off really cool. Yeah, you learn more about the historical implications and the side stories as you go on. But yeah, that's the Naruto world in a nutshell. I mean, eventually the first few arcs kind of are dedicated to, D rank missions that are just kind of assigned to those that aren't particularly prolific, mostly genin. And eventually, they try and upgrade themselves to Chunin status with the Chunin exams, which is one of my favorite arcs of all time in Naruto. You are introduced there to the lovely Orochimaru, the snaky boy. You are introduced to the Sand Ninja as well, Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro. Fucking Kankuro. And yeah, it's a fun time from there. Any questions, Tyler? I know I spoke for most of that, and I do apologize for taking a few gaps in memory.
No. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted. Like, I like being filled in on where we actually are when you're watching a show. For me personally, it's great to kind of get a better sense of where we are when we're watching the show. Like, what is this place? What is this land? Like, it's not really talked about too much in the show. So this is awesome. Like, we didn't really go into the show that much, which makes sense because we were simply building out the world, everything that kind of happens prior to where we start off when you first watch the show. There's a lot of backstory And this, I think, could save some people some time into, like, especially when they go through those ridiculous flashback episodes where it takes 30
Yeah.
episodes to get through a fight.
Naruto was one of the originators of the filler arc, which basically meant when Kishimoto or whoever was writing Naruto was taking a little bit too long, the studio was like, well, we don't have anything canon to make, so let's just, we still are on payroll, so let's just make our own little episodes of absolutely nothing to do with anything. And that would happen quite constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good, man. My brain's full to bursting.
Yes, sir. Word. And maybe in the next segment we'll add some discussions for some thoughts, theories, and opinions. Of course, those ones will be full of spoilers because I'm not going to hold myself back.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to pick your brain and see where you stand. I know there's at least one particular issue that we want to discuss.
Tyler's been trying to rack my brain for this for some time now.
I want to open that up. So I hope you all enjoyed, and
stay tuned.
Catch us next time on the next episode of Pandora's Box.